Have you ever wished there was something really simple that you could do right now to help reduce your stress? Not something that you need to add into your day or that, you need to section yourself off from everybody else and spend 10 minutes doing or anything like that, but something you could do right here, right now, in conjunction with everything else that you're already doing. Well, on this week's episode of the Exercise is Health podcast, we are talking with a guest who is going to help us do just that. We're going to cue our introduction and then we're going to dive right into this conversation. Welcome to the Exercise is Health podcast, where we will be breaking down the strategies and tactics you need to know to build your health, strength, and function without feeling achy, sore, or injured.
We're your hosts, Julie and Charlie, the creators of the Exercise for Life membership. Your podcast starts now.
Hey, welcome back, exercisers, to the Exercise is Health podcast, brought to you by Exercise for Life Studios, where we believe that your health is your most valuable asset. And the single best thing that you can do to both boost and protect this asset is exercise. Specifically, exercise is geared towards building the health and function of your muscles. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie.
And today we are bringing to you an amazing guest, none other than Dr. Tâmara Castelo. And what we are talking about with Tâmara is how to go about changing how we think about things, the things that we do throughout our day, with the intention of reducing our stress. I mean, how many times do we go throughout our day? We're feeling super stressed. We get to the end of the day and we're just feeling exhausted and feel like, did I even do anything today that either feels fulfilling or feels like it's moving me in the direction that I want to go? And the problem is that so often when we try to seek out things that will help us with that, it ends up being something that we have to add into our day. Like, stop and, find an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes to meditate. All right. And, take 30 minutes in the morning and journal, or, go for your morning walk and, think about all the things you're grateful for. Okay. And it's like, all right, that's all fine and well. But at the end of the day, it's adding more stuff into our day. But what if we didn't have to add in more stuff? What if we could keep doing the stuff that we're already doing and just apply some simple tweaks, some simple changes to how we go about doing those things to get us the results that we're wanting? That's exactly what Tâmara is going to help us with today. So Tâmara Castelo is a specialist in Chinese traditional medicine and the CEO of Tâmara Castelo Clinic in Lisbon and Porto, TMC Health, TMC Holistic, and TMC Jewelry. At her clinic, Tâmara treats sleep disorders, thyroid disorders, intestine disease, anxiety, migraines, and hormonal problems, and takes a holistic approach to healing. She is the author of Healing Without Medicine, Eating Without Guilt, and Full Balance, all winners of Gourmand Awards. She lives in Lisbon.
Hey, will you help us get more amazing guests just like this? Well, we just found out that the more reviews that we have here on our podcasting platform, the more likely we're able to land more and more awesome guests. So if you are enjoying this content, let us know by leaving us a rating and review. It helps us more than you can even imagine.
Tâmara, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm super honored to be here, and I hope I can help you with any questions you have.
Well, I'm sure you will, because your area of expertise is you're a specialist in traditional Chinese medicine, which is just a fascinating topic to me. And I know you work with people that have traditional, like health ailments and maybe some untraditional health ailments. And so you're looking at things, like their lifestyle, like what they're eating and everything like that, in order to help them be healthier. And one of the things that you look at a lot are their rituals. And so this is an interesting topic to me because I'm a little bit unfamiliar with this idea of like rituals. I mean, maybe it's something that I have in my own life, but it's like I can't pinpoint it at this moment. So I'm wondering if you can help me with that and start by just kind of defining, like, what are these rituals that you help people with?
Yeah, first of all, I think you have to understand that 45% of your time and my time are spent in things that you do in a systematic way. It's a habit. So 45% of the whole time you're awake, so like half of the time you're doing habits repeatedly. So you lose a lot of time brushing the teeth, showering, whatever you do, putting cream. So taking breakfast the same way, normally every day. That's a ritual.
Okay.
And the big difference between a habit and a ritual, because ritual is not connected with something esoterical or something religious, nothing like that. It can be, of course, because you have a lot of rituals, but drinking coffee with your wife, it's a ritual. If you do it every morning for 10 years, it's a ritual because it's something with meaning. Because
Ah,
it provides connection.
okay.
So I just help my patients to take that 45% of their time and make it into something special, even if it's 5%. And so when you're
What do
brushing,
you mean by that? That's a
yeah,
really interesting twist. I didn't think you were going to go there. What do you mean by that?
really,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm surprising you. That's good. Because I think, you of course you can have rituals with candles, and you can do an inspiration quote every day. You can do a lot of things, but if you take the time you already have spent in brushing teeth and showering, and you put that habit into a ritual, the only difference is to connect with something repeatedly. When you're drinking coffee with your wife, you're connecting with your wife. That makes
Mm,
a ritual out of it, not the coffee, it's the
sure,
connection. So when
sure.
you're
Okay.
brushing your teeth, if you think about something, let me say your dream for this year, your
Hmm.
goal, every time you brush your teeth, you think of the goal.
Hmm.
And this is a ritual because it's
Mm.
connecting to you, and it connects to your emotions and drives you to the goal. If it's goal, if
Okay.
it's a weight loss thing, if it's
Yeah,
a problem with binge eating, if it's a problem with anxiety, if it's a
sure.
problem with public speaking, if you connect with that and give it an intention, and you
Yeah.
do it every time you brush your teeth, every time you're preparing dinner, if your mind is focused on something, that's a
Mm.
ritual. So
Okay.
don't complicate. I think it's the only thing that because when you're doing a habit, you're not connected. You're just doing
Hmm.
it,
Hmm.
just doing. Your hands are moving, your everything is moving, but you're thinking about something else. So you're
Sure.
not connected to the present moment because
Yeah.
you have a dissociation. Your
Hmm.
body is doing something and your mind is elsewhere.
Sure,
Sometimes it
sure.
happens when you're driving. So the thing with a ritual is like you come into yourself,
Hmm.
and you're doing something with your mind focused on the same thing every time. So this
Oh,
helps you in a lot of ways in terms of your mental health, and
sure.
even biochemically it helps you
Okay.
because you're not stressed because you're so focused on one thing. And
Yeah.
this is a de-stress moment during the day. And if you
Okay.
take a lot of breaks, and if you brush your teeth after eating breakfast, one
Hmm.
moment, if you
Hmm.
brush your teeth after lunch, 2 moments, and
Hmm.
before night, before you go to bed, 3 moments. So you have 3 moments in the day, 2 minutes each, when you're focused on something. This
Mm.
will help you immensely to reduce your anxiety levels, stress management, and
Yeah.
keeps you focused on what you want.
Okay, so
So,
this is fascinating. Let me just kind of recap what I'm hearing right now to make sure I
okay.
have it framed in my mind correctly. So take the teeth brushing, for example. Okay. Most people brush their teeth. Most people brush their teeth multiple times a day. And so if you're doing that, instead of thinking about like your to-do list for the day, or
Yeah.
thinking about like, I just need to get through my 2 minutes or however long you're going to do it for, and then you're
That's
back to the
terrible.
next thing, right? It's like, while you're doing it is not necessarily, I mean, it could be, but it doesn't sound to me so much like you're really focused on the teeth brushing itself, but you're using that as like, hey, what am I grateful for today? What am I, you're trying to connect with something, like you're saying, that is meaningful to you,
Yeah.
that is allows you to be present, but is also maybe in some extent like outside of that moment.
Yes, totally
Okay,
that. It's perfect because the to-do list, it's not exciting for your body.
sure. Yeah,
To make
yeah.
it a ritual, it has to be something that makes you vibrate a bit,
Okay.
not
See
a
this,
shopping list. It has to make you
yeah.
vibrate. Like, oh, I'm so grateful for this and this. I love this. This I love
Mm-hmm.
this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
you're connected with that. It can
So
be a
I have an
goal. It
example.
can be
Yeah, yeah.
anything.
Okay. That's so I have an example. So I don't know, 8 years ago, no, 8 or so months ago, I said, okay, every morning I'm gonna take a cold shower. All right. And so what it started off with is getting in the cold shower and almost like playing games with my mind to distract myself from being in the cold shower because I didn't want to feel that cold. And then slowly it became more about like telling myself things that are very like affirming or positive or certain mantras or whatever in order to be able to embrace kind of like being in the cold, not distract myself so much from the moment, but just like almost like add to that experience. And so
Of course.
it sounds to me just like in that process it transformed from like me trying to create a habit into something that's now more of a ritual for myself, where it's like, okay, yeah, like this is something that, I mean, I'm not going to say that like I really look forward to it, but like while I'm doing it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I leave this experience definitely better than when I start.
But the thing is, it gives you power. That's the
That's
difference
big.
between a habit and a ritual.
Okay.
The ritual gives you power. Even if you don't like to do it,
Sure.
it gives you power after. You stop, and then you're not the same.
Okay, yes.
This is the difference. You have a shift on your energy.
Okay.
That's the idea.
That's a really powerful shift, because
thank you. I like it too.
It is, because I mean, just think about like how much stuff we do throughout our day that's just kind of pre-programmed, like you're saying, that we're not even thinking about, that it's just like, okay, this is how I make the coffee, and this is how I unload the dishwasher, and then I go and I do the XYZ, as opposed to being like, and what you're not saying is like, you need to block out everything and just be like super focused and present. You're like, give it a greater meaning than just putting away dishes. Give it a greater meaning than just sitting and drinking your coffee before you go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you have these times during your day where you're like, it's almost like a recharge from a purpose perspective.
Oh yeah. And from every perspective, because you lower your stress, because you're just, I'm in myself. Because stress in a way is the disconnection.
Yes.
You're so disconnected that you cannot cope. But if you are always in connection, the levels of stress decreases.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So how does this impact people's stress? What have you seen with your patients?
Because stress is a response of your adrenals. It's a response of insecurity. It's not a response from nothing but insecurity. So it's like, what's coming up? What's going to happen? So you're always in this state. And if when you're doing a ritual, you come back to yourself. So you're not there, you're here. You give a step back. And if you do this during the day, you're never in the position of fighting. Okay. Because you know what you want.
Sure.
You have your self-esteem established, and you are establishing during the day. You have your goals present. So you're actually connected to good feelings, good vibrations. So it's really difficult to go from here. You just have you're brushing your teeth and you're thinking about something that really resonates with you. Always the same thing. It's important to repeat. Always the same thing. So the person who will try to stress you in the next hour will not succeed. Because you're cool, man. Talk to the hand, I love it. So this is the thing. You have to be in this state, not to be locked in this state of stress and uncomfort, because people are stressed all around us. So and stress is like a virus. If your defenses are low, it will attack you. But if your defenses are high, you're just, cool, man. Just take a breath. So this is a type of way of living, actually, because it's so loud. And if you just keep coming to the center and keep reminding yourself what is important, which is really, really, because sometimes you have arguments in your stress about things that are completely abnormal. And then the next day you think, how did I let myself in that position? This is stupid. I'm losing my energy. My time, and with this you can not lose time, because you're already losing the time, but you just make it special and makes you feel better and more strong as a person, and your mind gets more focused, and your body goes to oxytocin state with a lot of hormones, good hormones, because when you're thinking good things, the dopamine, everything is cooling. So a really cool moments and movement through your body. Other than mental, it's biochemical, and it's really difficult for you when in a state of high dopamine and high serotonin and good oxytocin. Is really difficult for you to be in that place and go to a stress moment or anxiety moment. It's really difficult. Biochemically, it's almost impossible.
Interesting.
So you just hack it. Hack it.
That's so cool. And to think like so many of the habits that we have are very disruptive in a sense to us being in that kind of state. I mean, just think about like how often we just habitually pick up our phone for no other reason than to see if somebody has pinged us or to see if there's some kind of notification or something that, like you're saying, that we need to respond to. And so a lot of our habits throughout the day end up being almost like seeking a response, being like, okay, what do I need to respond to now? And if you can just switch that and be like, okay, cool. Like now it's not about the response. It's about me connecting to something else.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge
For sure.
switch.
It is. And it changes lives.
I can imagine. So how, let me ask you this. How do you implement this into your own life?
Oh, I will tell you a bit about my life. I run 2 clinics. I have 33 people in my crew.
Wow.
So I have 2 kids, 2 dogs.
Oh my.
And I definitely.
There's a lot going on.
If I didn't implement that, I was crazy at this point.
Sure.
So for me, it's a matter of survival.
I get it. Yeah.
So I think for me, I've been anxious, I don't know, through my adolescence, the whole time, every day, every hour, I think, in my adolescence. And it was really super hard. And the studies were difficult and university was hard too. So it was a struggle. And I think I found myself in a position to say that I know my anxiety and I know how to get there. So I know the way to there, and then I know the way back. So this is important. When you have a feeling like stress or anxiety, you have to know what triggers you and the road to get there, because you have to see it and understand it. And I think for me, I implement it because sometimes I feel a lot of stress because it's 33 people. It's stressful.
Sure.
And a lot of patients, and the patients are super sick sometimes. And I see a lot of oncology patients, and it's heavy, and autoimmune diseases, and you have to maintain a certain level of coolness and peace, a kind of a peace. You cannot fake it. You have to do it because it's so stressful at sometimes, and people are so unbalanced. If you don't keep it straight, then if you're not the person to come and to, it's not a good job.
Sure. Yeah.
And I implement it every day when I wake up, in the lunchtime, at night, every time. I'm always connected to myself, to my feelings, to the expressions of my body. If I'm feeling ache, if I'm feeling too tired, I'm always connecting to see if something is not right, and to give it a rest. And I know my limits very well, and I try to put my body in a good position, not to stretch it in a way that I'm not a slave. So I see a lot of patients that push the bodies into limits that are completely inhuman, So, and sometimes I always say to the patients, when you yawn, you go to bed. No, doctor, it's 8:30 p.m. And I said, go to bed.
Right.
Sorry, your body is telling you, I'm done, man.
Yep.
If you keep pushing, what you're going to do is actually put yourself in a stress state, because your body says, oh, she cannot sleep. I have to release adrenaline. Something is going on. Right. Oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah.
This is not cool, man. Terrible.
Yeah.
You're breaking your own respect. So if you're yawning at 8:30, go to bed. Sleep,
right.
Man. Tomorrow you'll be better. It's cool.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do a good work at 9 p.m. You're just going to take 3 times the time to do something, and it's going to be shit. So sleep, and then tomorrow you wake up earlier and you do it with a fresh brain. And I think that's the problem. People don't always know the limits of themselves, and they don't know the feelings, and they don't know how the body expresses, which is a terrible thing for adults.
Sure.
Your body is they sometimes adults confuses thirst with hunger, or tiredness with irritability. Sometimes they say, oh, doctor, I'm so anxious, I cannot cope with this. And I said, are you anxious or are you tired? They look at me, oh, I don't know. And I said, are you anxious or are you tired? Because if you're tired, of course you're anxious and irritable and terrible and everything, because you're just tired. And if you see a tired toddler, it's impossible.
Right.
He's super angry and intolerant and terrible person. When he's he's an angel. So maybe you're tired. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Just relax. Listen to music. Do something that makes you feel pleasure.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. You're just suffering. So give it something to your body to release the adrenaline and things, because everybody has it, but you have to know yourself to the point that you know what to do and you know how to take care of yourself as you do to a toddler.
Yeah.
So
if
your body is talking, you do it. You just have to understand yourself.
Yeah, no, totally. It makes perfect sense. And what's coming to mind a little bit as you're saying all this is, I think a lot of times people try to add in specific things into their day to try to get that connection, or to try to de-stress, or connect with something that's greater than themselves, whether it's, hey, I'm going to add in meditation, or I'm going to add in yoga, or like how we teach people to exercise, I'm going to add that in, or I'm going to add in prayer. But what you're saying is you don't have to add something else in.
No, don't add.
Right.
Use
just
the time
do the stuff you're already doing.
Use the time you're losing.
Yes.
Don't add.
No.
Adding is difficult.
Right. Yeah. And so, and that's what I think is so brilliant about it, is you're going through your day physically doing the same stuff that you are already habitually doing. You're just changing where your mind is at while you're doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. And connecting to something that is, a dream or aspiration, or something that you feel like is bigger than you, that is taking your life in the right direction, who you want to be as a person, and everything like that. I love that.
And even a prayer. You can do it while you're showering.
Yeah.
A lot of my patients do that. I said to them, what you want to do in the shower? Okay, maybe I will pray. And I said, okay. So they're taking a shower, and then they're the mantra from themselves. No matter the religion, that's not a problem.
Sure.
Something that connects you with something and makes you like a kind of meditation. You're just doing things. You're not adding time. You're not nothing, because you're already doing it. You're losing the time already. Just make it count. It's just this, because it's 45% of your waking time. 45% of your day.
It's a lot.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So
some
people said, "Oh, I think my day should have more hours." You don't need it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I know that those words have come out of my mouth before. It'd be like, oh, if I could just get one more hour during the day. It's like, what are you going to do with one more hour? You're just going to fill it with stuff and feel like you need another hour.
Yeah. So you just use the time you have. Normally I say to my patients, okay, you have to put in so you're going to look at yourself for 1 week. And then you're going to write it down, all of the things you do every day. And then in each of things, you're going to choose 3 and make it count.
Okay.
People go crazy. The creativity increases, the focus increases, the happiness increases, because they are super connected with themselves, and they understand that they are not losing time. So actually putting or cleaning away the dishwasher is a good thing.
Sure.
It's not a bad thing, because I'm going there and I'm going to do so. So you're just connected to a lot of things that sometimes were negative or uncomfortable, to something that is comfortable. And it gives you hope to do that. And I think, okay, hopefully I'm going to do the dishes today.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay. I love that, because that was going to be my next question for you, is like, how do you recommend people start implementing this? So just so I can recap, it's like, all right, look at the things that you're doing throughout your day and pick 3 of them that or you said, take the next week and write down all the things that you do throughout the day, and then pick 3 that you're doing repeatedly every single day, and turn them into these rituals.
Yes. And
awesome.
Makes the life. You don't have
I would imagine so. Yeah, I would imagine so.
3.
And so when people are switching their mind, do you recommend that they are, thinking of where they want to go in life, or what they're grateful for? Do you give any guidance on that?
I do. But depend on the illness, of course. Depend of the condition. If it's a health immune, if it's a cancer, if it's something else, if it's a thing that is more light, would depend. But normally, I always ask the people one question: how do you want to feel? How is the feeling? How do you want to feel every day?
Okay.
So this is a big question. And then with that question, you can design the other rituals. But normally, be grateful is really important. But it has to be something that really makes you vibrate It's not I'm grateful for having a car.
Sure.
That doesn't work.
Right.
It has to be something more profound for you. It has to resonate with you. When you think about that, it has to make you almost cry, not in a crying way, but emotionally makes you active. Normally I say that, and normally I said, what are your goals in life? Material, unmaterial, whatever, or for this year or for this month. And normally with these two things, we can compose some wishes.
Okay. That's awesome. And I would imagine that there's some trial and error to find like the things that make it click. But it's like, as soon as somebody finds it, I would imagine it's like instant, like that's my thing.
Yes, it's completely obvious.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Even when we started, and I said, what do you want to feel? And then 3 months later, when I see the patient, he changed the word himself. Oh no, I don't want to feel like that. No, actually, I discovered, doctor, that I want to feel like this. And it's super funny. Because it evolves, of course, with a connection. Actually, you're understanding yourself, and that, oh, I'm not that person. Actually, no, this doesn't resonate with me. I thought it resonated, but no. Actually, when I think about this, I really resonate with me. That's so strange. And then people start. It's really cool because they're starting to know themselves. It's cool. It's a good relationship.
Awesome. Yeah, right. That is just amazing. Amazing.
Really cool.
That's awesome. Well, Tâmara, is there anything that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you today?
Yeah. How many hours should you sleep?
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
And that's the last thing. So normally for a woman, 9 hours is good. Okay. For a man, 8.5.
Okay. All right. And is that like time in bed? Is that time
No. It's sleeping time.
Okay.
Sleeping.
Yeah. So if you're like getting in bed at 10, you set your alarm for 6:30 or 7. It's like, okay, but how long did it take you to fall asleep? How much did you wake up throughout the night? All those things.
Yeah. You have to have 9 hours if you're a woman with hormones, of course.
Sure. Interesting. All right. Now, do you find that these rituals, like implementing them, it helps improve people's sleep, and so it's easier to fall asleep?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because it really reduces stress and anxiety.
Sure.
So, and they are connected to themselves, because when you're doing rituals, you are more connected to yourself instantly. So you're feeling tiredness, and you're feeling more your body, because you're just connected.
Yeah.
You can have disconnection or connection, and when you have connection in the whole.
Sure.
You don't separate. So normally they tend to do better sleep because they tend to understand when they're tired, and they can understand when they are irritable and anxious, and they said, okay, I'm not anxious, I'm tired.
Sure.
I need a bit of a nap. So they will respect more the boundaries, and actually don't push their bodies to a state that sleep cannot happen. Because the problem is that we push, and then we make a buildup of stress and anxiety and adrenaline, and then when you want to sleep, even if you're exhausted, your body is like, oh, something's going to happen, I'm not going to sleep. What's happening? Oh, the noise.
Yeah.
And this is crazy.
So
you have to work on your sleep in the first hours of the day.
Okay.
Because you have to cool yourself along the day. It's not when you're going to bed at 8. Oh, how the people say, oh, you have to disconnect the lights at 7 p.m. You're lost at 7 p.m. if you have a bad day. You're completely lost. You can do whatever you want. You can do gymnastics. You do whatever you want. You are not going to bed. You're not going to sleep if you have insomnia. You have to address that during the working hours of the day.
Okay. Yeah.
Not the moment when you distress.
Yeah.
Because it's the buildup you bring during the day that will manage your sleep during the night. Because the sleep is a reflection of the day.
Okay.
So you have to keep that in mind. And if you're stopping 3, 10, 9 times a day to make some kind of connection with yourself, the levels of stress will decrease. The adrenaline will decrease. The cortisol levels will decrease, and you will sleep better for sure.
Well, in the other thing that's coming to mind as you're saying this is, I feel like a lot of things that people stay up later to do, whether it's watching TV or, scrolling on their phone or everything like that. If you're taking these times during the day to connect, to do these rituals, to like have meaningful connections with other people and, to like your greater purpose and everything like that, now all of a sudden you don't need to get to the end of the day and be like, oh, I just need to feel like some kind of connection or dopamine hit, or like,
you already
it's
did
like
that.
You're filled from your day and you're like, okay, yeah, I can go to sleep now.
Yeah, you're comfortable.
It's
because
really
you're
cool.
Already, your mind is good because you're nurtured with something good.
Sure.
Positive, and will make you vibrate. Will make you hope.
Yeah.
And this is the important thing. So in the end of the day, I'm going to sleep. No.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't care, because this is actually, if everybody did this, we're not having fights all the time, because they are good in their skin.
Sure.
Which is the most important thing. Your hopes and dreams are aligned. You're aligned. You know yourself. And if you do this every day, everybody around you will get better, because you're not going to cope with stupidity anymore.
Sure.
In that kind of way.
Yeah. That's awesome. Tâmara, where can people connect with you and learn more about your work?
Well, on Instagram, I think.
Awesome.
Maybe you'll get all the tags, and in my website, I think.
Perfect. We'll put all in the show notes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, the question that we like wrapping up with for all of our guests is, what is your definition of health?
Oh, health is not the absence of disease, which is really important. And for me, health is to have a physical body who works, and to have a mind that gives you hope and pleasure and happiness.
I love that. I love that.
One of my favorite aspects of that interview was how applicable it was. The advice that Tâmara was giving is something that we can all add into our lives right this very second without having to add on more extra stuff. Meaning we don't have to, again, find extra time to do something. All we have to do is change where our mind is at while we are doing the things that we habitually do already throughout our day. So if you'd like to connect with Tâmara, if you'd like to find out more about her work, definitely check out our website, check her out on all the social handles. We put all those links in the show notes below. So who do you know that needs to hear this episode? Who do you know that is wanting to better manage their stress, feel more fulfilled with their life, feel like every day is building towards the future that they are wanting for themselves, but they're not really sure how to go about doing that, nor are they wanting to spend extra time every single day trying to add stuff in because they already feel slammed and overwhelmed? Share this episode with them so they can understand what quite possibly should be their first step to doing that by taking Tâmara's advice. And while you're online, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It helps people find our podcast when they're looking for information on exercise and they're looking for information on health. So if you found value in this conversation today, let us know by leaving us a 5-star rating and review. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Have a fantastic week, and we'll talk with you all next week. This podcast is for information purposes only. The statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Julie and Charlie Gates, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements or advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical issue, consult a licensed physician.